Alright, I like to start these from the very beginning. That way, if you have not already done so, you can look below this video in the description box and you'll find a link for this program, Stellarium. It's free. There's also a PDF manual on how to use it, a link for your Linux, your iMac, or your Android. When you first turn on Stellarium, launch the bottom taskbar. Starting from the right, coming across to the left, we're going to come across to here, the meteor showers, and turn that off. In the next set of symbols, you'll see a lightning bolt. We're going to turn that one on. Then we're going to come across to the atmosphere, the cardinal points, and the landscape, and turn all that off. In the last set of symbols, you'll see a running man icon. That's our images. We're going to turn that one on. Coming to the left-hand taskbar, all the way to the top, an 8-pointed star is a symbol for navigation. It's ruled by Mercury. Our target city is Dunedin, Florida. And there we go. Make sure the arrow is pointed in the correct place. Come back down to the little running man icon. Make sure the name of the city is over his head. Then we can X this box out. Coming back to the left-hand taskbar, the clock icon. Let me move this just a little bit. The clock icon, our target date, is August the 4th, 1992. Just hold down on the tab and scroll it back. And our time is 8:04 a.m. All right. We're at August the 4th, 1992 in Dunedin, 8:04 a.m. Coming back to the left-hand taskbar to the search tool icon, we type in the sun, and off we go. Cancer, the divine feminine. You're on the cardinal cross. Your ruling planet is the moon. Mercury in Cancer. We're just going to take a quick look and see where everyone's at. Throat chakra with the sun in Cancer. Venus in the house of the sun, Leo, with Jupiter. The moon all by itself in Virgo. So, you're cardinal water, but that's not how people see you. People see you as your moon sign, which is mutable earth, and it's over here all by itself. So this tends to be what I call an only child, or a lonely child, possible introvert, or just kind of lost in the crowd, a middle child, doesn't get much attention. Saturn in Capricorn, this will be your lesson. Capricorn is opposite your first house of Cancer. This is cardinal earth. So your lesson will be what is exactly opposite of you. They're both feminine. A Mars, root chakra, and fixed earth. All things have duality. I kind of like Mars here. We'll talk about that when we get there. Alright, so your cardinal water in your sun, mutable earth in your moon. Let's see what your rising sign is. There really isn't material in that for the alchemy, but a lot of people ask me about it, so I tend to go ahead and just do it. It's your cross to carry. You can look up this information wherever you like. You get it on a 0 horizon here. Need to come back to 04. We've got the East, and not only are you Leo rising, but you're also Venus rising. You've also got a Venus rising. Venus and Leo. Your constellation rising is Leo. A lot of people don't have it. I have particular star on my horizon as well. So, Leo rising. Why am I clicked on Mars? Oh, yeah, Venus rising. Alright, let's turn that off. Come back to the left-hand taskbar. I like to start with the outer planets. Well, The sun is definitely not an outer planet. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Pluto. I'd like to talk about the outer planets really quick before we get into them. Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune are not connected to any of the chakras in alchemy, nor do they rule any houses in alchemy. They are too slow. If you live to be very old, you might get one Pluto return in your lifetime. So it's just not even logical to think of the outer planets ruling houses. Some of us will never be affected by Pluto, other than it being in our natal chart. We'll never get a Pluto return. It just wouldn't work. In alchemy, Pluto is considered the subconscious mind. He works in the etheric world with Saturn. Uranus, like Pluto, is the conscious mind, but works in the physical world with Jupiter. Uranus and Pluto are both planets of massive transformation and generational markers. When they come into a sign, they change everything, and they start that change by taking away. Pluto takes away in the etheric world so that something new can manifest in its place. Uranus takes away in the physical world so something new can manifest in its place. This stimulates growth. Without change, there is no growth. All right, Pluto, let's see if he's retrograde. The way we do that is we come over here to the logistics, and you'll see ecliptic, longitude, latitude, J2000.0 in brackets. Our numbers are 230-15079. We're going to watch the 15079 and kick it up a day. The numbers increased. Pluto is not retrograde. Because the outer planets are not connected to the chakras, their energy is much easier to transmute when retrograde. It can actually be in your favor. Pluto in Leo, this is a generational marker. So Pluto is going to affect you with his change when it's on the cardinal cross or when it's in an air sign. Currently, Pluto is in Sagittarius and mutable fire and is not affecting you. But in 2020, in just a few months, Pluto is going to move into Capricorn on the cardinal cross and will begin to affect you. And then again, when Pluto moves into Aquarius, the air sign, it will also affect you. So you've got your major Pluto effect is going to be here. It's going to start in 2020, and it's going to stay with you for over a decade. For over 10 years, you'll have cardinal Earth to deal with, and then fixed air. Now, both of these are very much alike. Being as Saturn is here, this is your lesson. This is your lesson. You're coming up on your first Saturn return. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about these two signs, because this is where Pluto, working with Saturn in the subconscious mind, is going to change you. It's demanding change. Now, Cancer, your sign, that's the divine feminine, along with Capricorn. Capricorn is the creative aspect. This is the god of let there be, Genesis. It's the ancient of days. Cancer was the age of the flood. The moon's considered the destroyer in that aspect. So this is about manifestation and creation. Now, Saturn rules both of these houses, Aquarius and Capricorn. All planets rule two houses. They're all dualistic, and Saturn is the only one that his houses are side by side, and they're very much alike. Capricorn, here Saturn rules government, agriculture, the military, education, the post office. These are civil service jobs. I even consider a waitress to be in here. It's where the one serves the many. Aquarius is much like that. This is the Christ. He says, no man takes my life, I lay it down. And he lays it down for whosoever. So this is the one who gives himself for whosoever, the many. And both of these signs are signs of service. Cancers can tend to be really inward looking, concerned about self, opposite of here. This would be concern and devotion to the whole, not one, but the whole. It's like what Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. That's kind of what this is. So your lesson along with this Pluto transformation change is going to be about sacrificing self as service to others. And that is your Pluto. Let's go to Uranus. Wow, Uranus in Sagittarius. Interesting. Now, Uranus is the conscious mind, and Sagittarius is considered the illuminated mind. It's ruled by Jupiter. It is mutable fire. It is the house of ideology and belief, which is funny because you would associate this more with Pluto in the subconscious than you would the conscious mind. And Pluto is currently here where your Uranus is. So Uranus is going to affect you when it's on the mutable cross and when it's in a fire sign for transformation in the physical world. Currently, Pluto is on the mutable cross in Pisces. He's already spent his time here, and he went into cardinal fire and retrograded back. So now he's headed back to Aries, and he's only going to be here for actually 1 more month. He moves into Aries March the 19th. So 1 more month of the water, the mutable aspect of what you're dealing with. Now here, this is what I call groupthink. Pisces is groupthink. It is the people you're like mind with. It's people you go to work with, people you go to school with, people you are in the cliques you hang with on Facebook, YouTube, other platforms. It's groupthink. So Uranus came in here and got rid of a lot of people, associates. These are associates. When you talk about water, the water in Cancer, your water, that's mama's house. That's home. Those are the people you're related to. The water in Scorpio, those are the people you choose in your life, your best friends, your lovers. Pisces, this water here, like I said, it's association. It's the people you go to school with, the people you go to work with, the lady you pay for your gas on your way to work 2 or 3 times a week. You'll notice faces start disappearing. It's also your YouTube accounts. It's social media. It's there taking away the old to make room for something new. Now, Uranus is really going to affect you in cardinal fire. And you're going to get the Pluto Uranus double slam on the cardinal cross. You're going to, starting in 2020, you're not only going to have Pluto in Capricorn, you're going to have Uranus in Aries. They're both on the cardinal cross. Your cross, the cardinal cross. When you talk about the crosses, the mutable cross is the adept in alchemy. The fixed cross is the master, and the cardinal cross is the grand master. To whom much is given, much is expected. Aries is the fire of purification. It's cardinal fire. Doesn't get any hotter than this. And it's time for you to clean up your act, and purify yourself. That's inwardly and outwardly, but especially the conscious mind here. This is Uranus. It's to clean up your thought patterns, the things you let in and out of your mind. Now, everything has its dualistic aspects, and this fire here, either it's going to purify you if you go with it and work with it. If you don't, it's going to burn you to the ground. And at that point, you'll have to become the phoenix out of the ashes and really just completely reinvent yourself. It'll take everything. Uranus, well, let's talk about Pluto first. Pluto in the physical, in the non-physical world. Both of these planets, they're like a rubber band. When they come into a sign, they're going to stretch and stretch and stretch. And they're going to give you all the time in the world while they're there to do this alchemy yourself. For you to make the choices, for you to make the necessary changes. But if you don't do it, they're going to do it for you. When they get ready to leave a sign, if that alchemy's not done, that change will come in a single moment. And it will tear your life apart. Always pay attention to when Uranus and Pluto get ready to leave a sign. Because that rubber band's going to break and snap the crap out of you. Now, Pluto in the physical world and the non-physical world, it can be like you buy a house one day, and the next day you go to work and you get this news that you've been fired. Now, you don't have a way to pay for this house. Or you're on your way to meet the person you love most in the world, and you get a phone call, and that person is on their way to the hospital, and you're not going to make it in time. Shit that just rips the rug out from under your whole life. And it'll happen in a moment. Uranus now, what we're talking about in the physical world, can be far more devastating. In a fire sign, cardinal fire, it could literally burn your house to the ground with everything in it. In an air sign, it can be like a tornado. Your house is there one minute, it's gone the next. It can take everything. A water sign can be like a flood. An earth sign can be like an earthquake. Just tear your whole world down to where it forces you to change, therefore so you can grow. Now, let's check Uranus's retrograde. You'll be dealing with Uranus until 2024. You're going to be dealing with Pluto until into 2030 minimum. Our numbers are 285-0407.7. We're going to watch the 0407.7, and it decreased. So yes, Uranus is retrograde. Uranus retrograde. You are rebellious. Duality again. Rebellion can be a good thing if you know the who, when, what, and why to rebel, if you know the right time to do it. But if you're going to rebel against the change that Uranus can bring in your life, then this is where the destruction comes in. Let me get my day back. I've put it back. There we go. Let me go ahead and move this back a few minutes. Not that it matters, only on the moon and the rising sign at this point. So do not rebel against this change. That is, if you find yourself in repeating patterns to where you lose everything, you don't understand what happened, how did I get myself in this position, you need to go back and look and watch when Uranus and Pluto get ready to leave signs and how that affects you. Because it can literally just rip your whole world apart to force that change on you. Alright, so watch that rebellious nature. Know when to rebel. You know, it's especially good as a child in this evil world that we live in to be able to say no. Right? That's a good thing, to be able to have the power to say no. And it's in the illuminated mind. You know, we've talked about water. Let's talk about your opposite, which is fire. The fire in Aries, that's ruled by Mars. That's your root chakra. That's the fire of emotion. It's rage, it's war, it's passion, it's what makes us, those emotions that make us move the heavens and the earths. It's very powerful, it's cardinal. The fire in Leo is the fire on the outside, like the halo or the crown, your aura, beautiful people that just shine when they walk into a room. It's that outer light or the outer fire. But the fire here is the fire in the mind. It's the illuminated mind. It's that ta-da, aha moment that we all have in the house of ideology and philosophy. Alright, let's move to Neptune. As Pluto is the subconscious mind and Uranus is the conscious mind, check that out. Neptune is the imagination. He has a very unique position. Because he's the imagination and he's non-tangible, you can't touch the imagination, we automatically assume that Neptune works with Saturn in the non-physical world. And indeed he does. But he is also associated with Jupiter in the physical world. The imagination is like the middleman between the etheric world and the physical world. To manifest, you must go through the imagination. Your imagination is immutable fire, the illuminated mind. Now, this alchemy is a little different with the imagination than it is the conscience or the subconscious mind. It's the real creative aspect here. Now, when Neptune and Saturn are on the same cross or in the same element, you'll come up with these magnificent ideas that can literally change your life and even humanity. And as Neptune begins to move, you'll work on these ideas. And then when he appears on the same cross or in the same element with Jupiter, those ideas will begin to manifest into the physical world. Now these lineups can take years and decades to occur. But there are times that we find Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune all on the same cross, or somewhere all in the same element. And in that case, the manifestation can go from years and decades, to weeks and months. There are times that we can find Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune all in the same house. In 2020, we're going to have Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto conjunction. When Saturn and Jupiter meet, that's the biggest generational marker. It happens every 20 years, and it defines the generations. When you have Saturn and Jupiter meet, the door to the Black Lodge opens. The Black Lodge is the subconscious mind. And in 2020, on the winter solstice, we're going to have a Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto conjunction, and we're going to manifest the next 20 years from our subconscious mind. If Uranus were here, we would manifest from our conscious mind. If Neptune were here, we would manifest from our imagination. So that's how Neptune works. Now, Neptune has another job. We'll get to that momentarily. Let's see if Neptune is retrograde. My dog is snoring. Our numbers are 286-59332. We're going to watch the 59332. Do that again. It jumped 2 on me. 5. All right. I am at 5933 going to 58. Pluto, I'm at Neptune, is retrograde. That's a good thing to me. Now, again, duality. In childhood, this can manifest that you might be considered to have a learning disability. And it's simply you're not paying attention. You're in your mind. The teacher's talking and you're staring out the window. You're daydreaming. You're off in your own head, which might have a lot to do with your moon over there. This would point to an introvert, somebody who's all in their head, especially the imagination in the illuminated mind with Uranus. This is somebody who spends a lot of time thinking about ideology and philosophy. A lot of questions, a lot of why things are the way they are. The who, what, where, when, why, and how of it all. All right, the good point of, now, later in life, negatively, this can manifest that you're having conversations with people and you're looking them right in the eye. They're just chattering on and you're going, yeah, but you're giving them lip service because you're not really listening. You're all off in your head. You're in your imagination. Now, the good thing about this is you do have the possibility to where you have the extra ability to manifest. You could actually, with a Pluto retrograde, with a Neptune retrograde in 2020 during the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, you have a better chance than most if you do your shadow work with Pluto and deal with the monsters of the id, then you can manifest your daydreams instead of your nightmares. Like I said, Pluto has another job. We'll come back to that momentarily. We've done the outer planets. I'd like to do the inner planets. Let me take a quick look at your moon again. In Virgo, it's at 42%, and that's going to be a waxing moon pulling away from the sun. Yeah, a waxing moon pulling away from the sun. All right, Mercury. We don't have to type him in. He's close enough that we can see and just click on him. Mercury, 10 degrees of the sun, combust of the sun. Is he retrograde? Yep, double trouble. Again, this is Mama's house. These are the people in your home. These are the people that you're related to. You're not allowed to speak. Combustion is unique. When you talk debilitated, when, say, Mercury's in Pisces, he's debilitated there. It just makes him weak. Here, he's combust of the sun. Combust is an outside force other than yourself. So, in Mama's house, you're not allowed to say what you want to say. And he's also retrograde. So even if you were allowed to say what you want to say, you can't. You have a lack of vocabulary. When you speak, you might even have a speech impediment. When you speak, you say one thing and they hear another. They hear what they want to hear. You don't have the vocabulary to truly express yourself. Now, when we talk about our charts, the sun is who you are. The moon is how other people see you. But Saturn rules astrology and alchemy. This is his circle. It's his lesson. This is his circle. So we always have to keep that in mind, that Saturn bases this chart on 30-year cycles. You will always be a Cancer, but on your first Saturn return, all of these planets are going to be in different houses with different aspects, and you actually have the opportunity to overcome this. We'll see how that manifests in your first Saturn return. So, from childhood through a minimum 30 years, within that span, communication problems, getting lost. You could easily get lost. You can get your bearings turned around and you'll end up going in the opposite direction for quite a while before you realize it. Flat tires, navigation, communication breakdown, navigation breakdown. Mercury rules logic and intellect, and you have this real powerful imagination in the illuminated mind. So you're also going to have a problem with logical thinking. It might be what others would call irrational. Myself, I call it thinking outside of the box, but irrational thought patterns. All right, so Mercury, not in a good place. He doesn't like water anyway. Mercury, Venus, and Saturn rule all heaven and earth signs. All water signs are ruled by Jupiter, the moon, and Mars. All fire signs are ruled by Jupiter, Mars, and the sun. Now, to the house of the sun, you got this to start with. You've got your sun in the house of water, the moon. Venus, big battle of fire and ice going on in your chart. Venus and fire, fixed fire. Is she retrograde? No, thank goodness. Very fiery, passionate, courageous heart. Jupiter, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Jupiter too while we're here, because this is your belief system. What you desire and what you believe. And this is the foot of the cross. Regulus is the nail in the foot of the Messiah crucified to the cross. This is where the eclipse happened last year. This changes everything. When you talk about the crucifixion, 3 people showed up at the crucifixion. Mother Mary, represented by Cancer, the divine feminine, maritime law. This is Mother Mary, Cancer. Then the other Mary, which is Virgo, the damsel in distress, the woman with the alabaster box, who washes his feet, Regulus, with her tears and dries it with her hair. Or the Mary Magdalene. I just call it the other Mary. That makes this character right here, Leo, John the Beloved. the only apostle that had the courage of a lion to show up at the crucifixion. And he was the most loved. So your belief system and your heart are both in a sign of confusion. The lion is the sign of Babylon, and it is the sign of confusion. It is opposite Aquarius on the wheel. Aquarius is the sign of knowing. So this is the sign of, I don't know. It's very courageous, right? The heart of the lion is very courageous. That's what they tell us in The Wizard of Oz, right? The cowardly lion, he had to find his courage. John the Beloved was the only one with enough courage. All the rest of them ran. They ran and tried to save their own ass. But here, your heart and your belief system, you will stand up for what you believe in, is tied directly to your heart. But they're both in confusion, and they're both at the state of, I don't know. And neither one of them are retrograde. So I don't know. A lot of your belief system, a lot of your opposite here. To understand one sign, we have to understand its opposite. Aquarius is you reap what you sow. Here, you're in confusion. It's almost like you want something for nothing. Opposite of you get what you give. Or you give and you get nothing here. You're in confusion. We'll watch that change as you grow. But also, one of my favorite signs, because it is the beloved. John might not have known, and he might have been confused, but his heart got the best of him, and he couldn't help at any cost but to be there with the two Marys at the crucifixion. So, still one of my favorite signs. Takes a lot to be here. A lot of courage. All right, Mars. Mars in Venus's house. The bull. Let's talk about the bull. To talk about and understand the bull, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Aries and Capricorn too. The three animals, the three prominent animals, especially with horns, that are in the zodiac. To understand this one fully, you need to understand the other two. Aries is the angry ram. There's a YouTube video channel called Angry Ram. A ram never takes his eye off the target. And what he does is he hits the target head on. He very determined. He whatever the problem is, he's coming at it head on. And he never takes his eye off the target. He backs up. He puts it in reverse. He don't turn around to get a running start. He puts it in reverse and comes at it again and again and again and again till he conquers it. He never stops. The bull, on the other hand, this is the fixed cross. This don't move. Nobody's moving you. Is he retrograde? No, thank goodness. Very grounded, very stable emotionally. Like a bull, nobody's telling you. Nobody's moving you emotionally. You're fixed. You're grounded. You got this. And that's what that says there. Now, to really understand these two, the bull, you need to understand the goat. How the goat is different from the bull who don't move. The bull in the field, he just stands there and makes a bunch of noise. He huffs, he puffs, he scrapes his feet around, but you're not moving him. That's his field. And he's very territorial. So is the ram. But the ram is going to attack. The goat is quite different. And it's part of your lesson of Saturn, so why I'm bringing it up. A goat, when he wants to attack, you'll never see it coming. A goat is going to be eating the grass, but he's watching you out of the corner of your eye. And the minute you turn around and your back's to him, that's when the goat makes his move. And when you least expect it, and he butts you in the ass from behind. You never see it coming. He's opposite of that ram that's in your face over and over and over. The goat is patient, long-suffering. He'll wait for that perfect moment to come at his target or his enemy. To where Mars here is, make your move. You're not moving me. I'm just standing my ground. Do what you got to do. You're not moving me. The difference between the three animals. Great place for Mars. Can be stubborn, a lot of things, but in this world today, you have to be grounded and you have to be prepared to stand your ground, and you are. Great to have this. Love it. The only better place for Mars would be in Capricorn. To be that goat, to have that patience, knowing when to make your move, right? Here, you're not making any moves. You're just standing your ground. Excellent place for Mars. Alright, we pretty much already done the Jupiter. He's not retrograde. This is your belief, your desire system. It's in confusion. It's, I don't know. It's very external. Leo is that outer light, that outer glow. This is also, in one tradition, Leo is considered famous people, movie stars, superstars, right? The beautiful people, the light on the outside, they're in the spotlight. It can also be a desire to be famous, or to leave your mark on the world, so to speak. Jupiter in Leo. But the whole time you're this loner. You're all in your head. You're all in your imagination. Nobody's telling you what to do. And you're either the only child or the lonely child. And that an only child generally produces a lonely child anyway. And they tend to be one and the same. But you can be in a house full of people and still be that introvert, all alone person. Alright, now to the big boy. What it's all about. Saturn. Are you retrograde? Our numbers are 315-26465. We're watching the 26465. Yup. Problem. Saturn retrograde. You might want to stop this video here, get you a pencil and piece of paper, and get ready to take some notes. I'm going to stop it and get me a drink of water, and then we'll get into this. You'll have to overlook me here. It's been raining monsoon in here, and I've gotten wet a couple times this week, and I'm starting to get a runny nose. And it's giving me the sniffles and the coughs. All right, Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. Saturn rules this chart. He is the taskmaster. Not only is Capricorn your lesson in life, the cardinal earth, the divine manifestation, so is the retrograde. Saturn retrograde, people that have authority over you take advantage of you for their own personal pleasures and their own financial gains. In childhood, this can manifest itself as abuse. Physical, mental, spiritual, verbal, psychological, sexual. I even consider neglect. Neglect is a severe form of abuse. You know, we get a lot of whippings as children, but we grow up and tend to forget those. But when we feel unloved or unwanted, neglected, that damage or that trauma can last a lifetime. Now, later in life, this same Saturn retrograde, if it's not overcome, it can manifest in the workplace as you get older. You'll be doing all the work. Whoever's in authority over you, your manager, supervisor, owner, they're taking all the credit. They're getting the raise, the bonus, the promotion, the pat on the back, the recognition, and you get nothing. You don't even get mentioned. For that matter, you might even get fired so that they don't get caught plagiarizing your talent, skills, work. So you have to deal with this. Number one, lesson, write this down, is Capricorn. Service to the many. 2, you must overcome this abuse in your childhood. You cannot grow up and do to others what was done to you. It is your responsibility, 1, to overcome it. and don't let it get the best of you. 2, you have to stand up against it in your lifetime. Whatever abuse was occurred to you, you are now required to break the cycle, especially in your family. If it's a family thing, you have to break that. You know, when you talk about this abuse and people who have authority over you as a child, that can be a parent, a babysitter, an older sibling who's, you know, got the authority over all the other kids. It can be being bullied in school to where you're just a walking target. And a Saturn retrograde really does feel like that. It feels like you got a freaking target on you and people just come at you for every direction for no reason. And you don't understand it, and you're confused. That Jupiter in Leo, very confused. And you don't know what to do. Right? Well, you're required when you grow up to overcome it. Don't let, what don't kill you makes you stronger. You have to become stronger. This is cardinal. It's the Grand Master. It's just the strongest point on Earth is cardinal Earth, Capricorn. So overcome it, don't become it, and stand up against it in your lifetime. Where you see this abuse that was happening to you, you're not allowed to walk by. You have to say something. You have to stand in the gap. All right, now, Saturn's going to give you 30 years to learn this lesson of service to the many or service to the whole. But you're going to get some help. And that's your imagination. Wherever Neptune is, that I call him Saturn's hidden hand. Ideology, philosophy, and your imagination are going to help you through the retrograde Saturn. It's going to help you learn your lesson of service to others. And that's learning ideology and philosophy. So let's talk about ideology and philosophy. When we think of that, we think of the great classics, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Homer, Odysseus, Herodias, Pericles. We think about the modern day philosophers, Freud, Jung, Nietzsche, Goethe, Descartes. But we forget about the alchemical and how much older alchemy is than either of these. Sagittarius is the sage of Terra. Terra is the earth. He's the sage of the earth. He's the shaman. It's the illuminated mind of the shaman. So don't be afraid. And every indigenous place around the world, every tribe was given a plant. Some were given the poppy. Some were given ayahuasca. Some were given mushrooms. Some were given pot. Some were given peyote. Some were given hashish. Everybody had something that illuminated the mind for that tribe. So I don't recommend pharmaceuticals. I don't recommend man-made alcohols. What I'm talking about here is nature. I might suggest to you your ancestry or your heritage. You know, like I said, each people's, Osiris's body was broken up into 14 pieces. And each piece was passed around the world. So everybody got one plant. And you need to find out what your plant was based on your heritage and give it a try. You know, many different cultures were given mushrooms, but they were given different kinds that brought forth different experiences. So I would always look to your ancestry to find the one that's correct for you. It's like the coca leaf and the marijuana plant. Most of that's indigenous North and South America. Ayahuasca, peyote. The psilocybin mushrooms are indigenous to India, to where the Amanita muscaria is indigenous to Europe. All right. So, big deal on the Saturn retrograde. You really need to get a grip on this before your second Saturn return. You really don't want it manifesting it for the rest of your frickin' life. And you can't be bitter about it. You have to look at it as let me tell you something. You're on that cardinal cross. You're a grand master. You've got this. You've got the power and the strength to do this. You just need to get off your ass and do it. Now, here, again, cardinal. You don't have the Grand Master don't have a teacher. You can't go to the Master. You outrank them. This is a personal, very personal, narrow road you must travel. And you've got to overcome it. You really do. And it's going to be linked directly to the people in your family first and foremost, because that's where it's opposite. This test is opposite the people in your family. Okay, so overcome it. What don't kill you makes you stronger. So become the goat. Be patient. Be long-suffering. Wait for that right moment when your enemy, that Saturn retrograde, turns their back. When that abuser and accuser turns their back, that's when you take them down. You don't never let them see you coming. It's stealth mode, I call it. You know, when you talk about Capricorn, the first 10 degrees, the first deacon here, this is the story when Anakin Skywalker walked into the Jedi temple and killed all the younglings. The stars here are the lucky ones of the slaughterer. So really, the whole thing about Capricorn are the Jedi. You're the Grand Master. You actually can do this. To whom much has been given, Grand Master, Cardinal Cross, much is expected. So let's go to your first Saturn return and see how you do. Let's come back to the exact time, and that's going to be 8:04 a.m. We'll put it at 3. Click on the Saturn, 8492. Make sure the city's right. And then we're going to come over here to the logistics, and we're going to write down these numbers. Get my pen. It is 315 26.48.5. Alright, we're going to take off into the future 30 years, come to your first Saturn return, and see how you do. Question, what is a Saturn return? Biblically, Jesus started his ministry at 30 years old. That's his first Saturn return. It's a rite of passage. It's an initiation right into the mysteries. It's the true age of accountability. It's when you start your ministry. It's the time in your life when your parents are no longer taking care of you. For that matter, you switch roles, and now it's time for you to begin taking care of them as they grow into old age. So let's go there and see how you do. I'm going to pause one more time right here. All right, let's take off. Bring him back around to 315.26. Come on, go. Which is going to be coming up in just a couple of years. 315, I am at 309. Went retrograde before he got to you. You were given extra time. Whoa, this is already interesting. Hold on. Oh, 26, not 06. Four 8.5. There we go. The date is February the 2nd, 2022 at 2300, almost 22. Wow, got a lot of twos going on there. Guess what? Congratulations. You learned the lesson of Capricorn. You're completely different than your first house. You've moved from cardinal water to cardinal earth. You will always be cardinal water. You will always be the Cancer. But you were asked to learn the lesson of Capricorn, and you've done it. Here it is. Written in the stars. Moon conjunct Jupiter. Now, I love this. I have my moon here, so I get it. Again, this is the Messiah, the Christ. So now it's ruled by Saturn. It's alchemy, it's astrology, it's karma and dharma. You reap what you sow. The law of equivalent exchange. Your belief system and the way other people see you are now in a line with the Lamb, Thalem, the Lamb of God. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now you speak as the philosopher. Your actions, this looks like a second Saturn return. This is awesome. Your Mercury is still retrograde. You have all this ideological stuff that you want to express, but you're still you're no longer oppressed from an outside force. This is pure retrograde. That means you say things backwards. You could think out loud. You have a lack of vocabulary, a lack of expressing yourself. You're saying one thing and people are not hearing what you're trying to express. They're interpreting it in their own words. Generally, that's from a lack of vocabulary. Again, bad navigation, going to get turned around, get lost, have that proverbial flat tire. Always make sure you've got a spare. It's like you're going to get lost, you're going to have the flat tire, you're going to run out of gas on the dirt road and end up at the Frankenstein castle, right? Always be prepared when you are traveling. Mars. Now your idea, you've got this Mars and the fire of the mind. I like Mars here as well. He's not retrograde. He's in a good position here. He's exalted in Capricorn. He's better off grounded. But now your actions are directly related to your ideology and your belief system. And that is here, Jupiter. You reap what you sow. You can only get out of something what you put into something. Now, about the way other people see you here, which is good because you have your sun and your moon both in a house of Saturn. But you have to understand, this is the self-martyr. Jesus said, no man takes my life, I lay it down. So here, this is, nobody done this to you but you. The moon here is learning to take responsibility for your actions. When shit happens, you have to realize your part in it. It's taking responsibility, not just for yourself, but others. Very giving, laying down. You've got that Uranus in that fire now, that you're purifying self. That's fasting, meditating, the purging of the emotions, getting control of emotions. Aries, Mars, which you seem to be doing a pretty good job of. You've got him out of the fire of, he was in fixed earth, but he rules that emotional fire of Aries, and your emotional fire of Aries is in the philosophical mind. Great positioning there. I like all these. They all look good. Your big problem here, you don't even look at the Saturn combust the sun here. You don't even look at that because it's a second Saturn return. In actuality, Saturn is still in your natal chart. We're looking at the natal chart. So you don't look at this as a combustion here. For anybody else that this wasn't their chart, it would, right? This is their natal chart, it would, but we're looking at a return. Jupiter retrograde, nope. Everybody looks good. Mars, Venus, Jupiter, all the ones that matter. Now, the question is, we get here and you see all these changes in you. You've done the work. It looks great. You're extremely powerful. So what now? What is your ministry? Ooh, I didn't even see your Venus up here with this. Is she retrograde? How could I miss her? No, she's not. So your heart, your Mercury, and your Mars are all in philosophy and ideology, the illuminated mind, in Sagittarius. So great aspect for all these. You've got this throat chakra, your heart chakra, and your actions are all stabilized, each one in a decan. So great placement for her as well. Alright, so now it's time to come to your second Saturn return, but we need to find out what your ministry is. What's your purpose? Why are you here? And we use Neptune to do that. And he is in Aquarius. We can look over here in the constellation, in the logistics, and it'll say IAU constellation, Aquarius. Is he retrograde? Our numbers are 351 11583. That 135, that is the number of the fish that are in the net. And let me do that again. It's not retrograde. So your imagination is not off the chart here anymore. You're going to be more of a linear thinker than imagination. You got that under control, so you pay attention now. You are in the present moment. You're not all stuck off in your head anymore. And you're not a loner anymore, by the way. You're not a loner anymore. Your moon is now with your Jupiter. But it's the Neptune we want to look at. So now, Aquarius, you've gone from Capricorn being your lesson to Aquarius being your lesson. And I just told you what that was. It's karma, dharma, you reap what you sow, service to others. But the Christ said, no man takes my life, I lay it down. It's taking responsibility for your actions and even standing in the gap for the actions of others. It's patient, Capricorn, long-suffering. Saturn rules both of these. This is when I talk about one aspect of Saturn and the other, they're still the same. These two signs, in my father's house are many mansions. That's because his father rules two houses. They are one. He's Pan, the goat man. They perverted it to Baphomet and made it the man goat, but it's Pan. So your lesson is Aquarius, and that's you need to learn alchemy, astrology, understand the law of equivalent exchange, karma and dharma. You reap what you sow. And the greatest thing you can do in this world is to lay down your life for a friend. Not an enemy, not an associate, but a friend. Remember, water here is a groupthink, associate. Water here, your first house, family, relations. But the water here are the friends, which is on the fixed cross, right? It's on the fixed cross. The people you choose in your life, your best friends, your lovers, the people you tell secrets to. Intimate relationships. Alright, so we'll go to your second Saturn return and find out how you do. Saturn rules the old age and the golden age, and this is his magic circle. So because he rules Aquarius, which is karma, dharma, alchemy, you reap what you sow, he's got a payoff. Karma has a payoff, one way or the other, good or bad. And so does Saturn. He rules the old age and the golden age, and those are his payoffs. You only get one or the other. One is, depart from me, I never knew you. And you go off into old age, miserable, alone, probably have to get back on the wheel and do it again. And then there's the golden age, and that's well done, good and faithful servant. You enter into your golden years of the golden age, and you enjoy the rest of your life. And Saturn can even give gifts at this point in your second Saturn return. So let's go there and find out how you do. All right, taking off 30 years into the future. Let me get that sun out of here so I can see what I'm doing. Here he comes. Our numbers are 31526. Eight. Let that ride for a minute. 26. Gonna take a minute to get here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 point. March the 14th, 2051 at 11:47 a.m. Venus is with Capricorn.
with Saturn in Capricorn. Great place for Venus. The Sun in Pisces, right on the line. This is now. This is where the Sun literally is in galactic time. Now, right here, getting ready to move into Aquarius. Mercury is debilitated here. So you've had the Mercury combust, you've had the Mercury retrograde, now you've got the Mercury debilitated. He's just weak. At least he's not retrograde anymore. The moon all by itself in Aries, not a good position for the moon. Mars back in its natal position. No, he's in Aries as well. Very fiery emotions. I suspect a Saturn return on top of you. Jupiter back in its natal position. This would be restoring the years the locusts have eaten. Giving back into your childhood. That would be a good aspect of this one. Saturn would not give a gift if it was not a well done chart. But you've moved from cardinal water to mutable water. I feel a Saturn retrograde on top of you. I want to look at that. Let me write down this date first. 2051, 3:15 at 11:47. I want to move him up. Let him make his walk. I bet you he's going to go retrograde and come back, because that don't look right. And here he comes. He's at 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit you twice. 3 times. $48.5. All right, the second date, 2051, 8:24 at 2:08 in the morning. Moon by itself in Pisces, don't look good. Mercury, is he back in its natal position? He's not retrograde, he's not combust. Everything else is at the foot of the cross. I actually like this. You've got the Sun, Venus conjunct Mars, Jupiter, everybody's here. Your belief system, your heart, your actions, who you are. You've become this John the Beloved character. I actually love this. I really do. Because here it is John the Beloved. And you have to understand, all 3 of these were in confusion. Mama over here don't understand why her son's being crucified. The damsel in distress don't understand why her lover's being crucified, or her Prince Charming. And definitely John the Beloved cannot believe. He understood more than all of them. But massive courage here. Massive bravery. I don't think I've ever seen that much. But that's not all. Let's keep going backwards. He's going to do it 3 times. You have like almost so many chances to get this right. Let him go forward. We're coming back to 3:15:26. Let him keep going backwards. He's going to cross you one more time, the final time. Here we come. Coming to 3:15. $26.48. .5. December the 9th, 2051. So third one at 2200 hours. That's 10:33 at night. the moon in Aquarius. You're going to catch that moon alone no matter what, ain't you? Jupiter in the damsel in distress, mutable earth, Mars and Mercury both in Libra, the Sun in Scorpio, and Venus in Sagittarius. I like the second one better. This one don't look bad. It don't. But the second one is off the charts good, because you end up at the foot of the cross. We're told to take up our cross and follow him. And what better way than to be at the foot of the cross? You have a love of ideology and philosophy. People see you as the Messiah, the self-sacrificing one. Jupiter, you know, this is the damsel in distress. I call it the Cinderella story. When you have Mars here, I look at it as Olive Oil and Papa, right? And Brutus. They're three characters that run the gamut here. It's ruled by Mercury, but it's Mercury's feminine aspect. It's feminine, mutable earth, the miry clay. And here, Jupiter is Papa. Mars would be Brutus, right? So this would be the Papa character, or Prince Charming saving the damsel in distress. That's what this is. So I kind of like it here. Your voice is now exalted to the heights of the heaven, is not retrograde, not combust, not debilitated. This is cardinal air. This is the third heaven. It's the most high of the heaven. So your speech and your actions are exalted to the heights of the heavens. I call it beyond the stars, Libra. And so you've got the moon in air, Mercury and Mars in air, the second one is the best one because it is signs. Let's go back to the second one, and that's going to be 824 at 208. This is the one I like. This is the one I want you to shoot for. Because Jupiter's back in its natal position. That's restoring the years the locusts have eaten. That's a huge gift from Saturn. Huge. For who you are, your heart, your actions, your beliefs, all to be this, what I call John the Beloved, courageous beyond, without measure. You are now the voice in your home. You have the voice of the divine feminine now. I call the old crone, the wise old crone, right? The wisdom, logic, intelligence, wisdom, cardinal water. It's just massive here. And he's not retrograde. This is the best one. This is the one you want to grab and not let go of. This is your goal, what you need to shoot for. I have my moon here, with my Venus. I have my moon and my Venus here. And my Saturn here. So our paths are very, very much alike. Very much alike. I really feel this chart. Alright, I am going to send some books. Picatrix. It's astrology in the age of Cancer. It's moon magic. Picatrix. I'm not going to send... Stop that. I'm not going to send one for Gemini, because the world has that. We have Buddha, emerald tablets of those, Hermes Trismegistus, Viracocha, Lord Pakal. That information's all over the world. Stellar theology and Masonic astronomy for the age, astrology for the age of Taurus. Spherical Kabbalistic astrology, astrology for the age of Aries. And then Witness of the Stars, stop that. Witness of the Stars, which is a Christian perspective of astrology from the age of Pisces. This guy here, he doesn't know alchemy. He doesn't understand astrology. He's a Christian preacher. So, he still worships the god of fire over here in Aries, and he's very heavily Masonically influenced by Orion. He did not find the stone the builders rejected, which is Fomalhaut. We don't really have an astrology book for the age of Aquarius except for the New Testament. Pisces is the age of religion. I call this beast out of the sea. This is all religions. This star here is the Vatican, and he's got the hold on all world religions. This is the Bible. This is the Old Testament. It's all black and white words, and it worships the god of fire here. This is the New Testament fish. They have the red words, and they are looking for our Father who art in heaven, or the air sign of Aquarius. So the red words in the New Testament are talking about the age of Aquarius. And that's really the only knowledge we have about Aquarius, is what we're told in the New Testament, and then in the different traditions and cultures around the world, when they speak of the golden age, are talking about the dualistic age of Capricorn, Aquarius, the time of Pan. All right, let's take it back to the beginning. To me, you got a 2 out of 3 chance of hitting a good chart. You need to shoot for the second one. But your destiny is undecided. It's all up to you. August the 4th. At 8:04. You know, 84 is the number of the elect. I meant to tell you that. 84, number of the elect. 84. And you've got it twice. All right. You have cardinal water magic. Your magic circle is exactly the symbol of Mercedes. It's a silver circle cut into 3 pieces of pie. So if you can ever hijack you a Mercedes symbol, it would be a great talisman for you. It's silver, it's a circle, it's water magic. In the first piece of the pie, you have a symbol of Cancer, a symbol of the Sun, and a symbol of Mercury. In the second piece of pie, you have a symbol of Pisces. In the third piece of pie, you have a symbol of Scorpio, which is actually an eagle, not a scorpion. They changed it. That's why Julius Caesar always runs around hollering, "Where's my eagle?" Because Scorpio was an eagle. They hid the eagle and gave us the Persian scorpion. But it was an eagle with a great serpent in its claws. As Capricorn and Aquarius were one sign, Scorpio and Libra were one sign, the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl. And that's your water magic, all in your first house. Not very powerful. You don't have, the only planet there is Mercury, and he's combust, so, and retrograde, so not powerful water magic at all. Now your cross is the cardinal cross. Your axis bar up and down is feminine. Your cross bar is masculine. At the top, it's feminine. Its color is silver or white. So you've got like what I call a white hat. You're a white hat. You got a white hat on the top of your head. You've got a symbol of Cancer, the Sun, and Mercury. In your left hand is cardinal fire. Aries. You have fire magic in your left hand. It's very powerful. You have a symbol of Aries here, and this is also gold. So with your left hand, your feminine hand, you have the power of the Midas touch. This could make money for you, and you would do it in the feminine aspect, right? The feminine things would make you money. You have the Midas touch with that. At your feet is cardinal earth. So you walk on the highest mountains of the earth. You have a symbol, you have on black shoes. So you have a symbol of Saturn, retrograde, and a symbol of Capricorn. So you got on a white hat, black shoes, there's a gold glove on your left hand, and on your right hand is a red glove, or what I call that red snake in your left hand. I mean in your right hand. Now about this red glove on your right hand, I call it you get caught red-handed. If you put your hand in the cookie jar, you're going to get caught. Whatever mischievous things you try to do in your life, you will get caught. Literally, red-handed. As a matter of fact, you're a terrible liar. When you do lie, people see right through you. You don't have a poker face. You couldn't lie and get away with it if your life depended on it. I think that Mercury retrograde just solidifies that. That Mercury combust solidifies that. Is that you're a terrible liar and you're going to get caught for every mischievous thing you try to do. For that matter, it's so prevalent because it's cardinal here that you're going to get blamed for shit you didn't do. You'll get blamed for mischievous things that others did simply because you wear this glove and you look guilty. Okay? You got the red glove, you look guilty. All right. That is your cross. That is your circle in your natal chart. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the comment section below this video. If I know the answer, I'll tell you. If I don't, we can put our heads together and try to find the answer. I am stacking charts right now, so if you have questions, please try to make it in the next day while this chart is still fresh in my mind. This video is unlisted. Only you and I have the link. You can share the link with whoever you like. You can download this video and put it on your channel. If you lose the link, I'll be glad to replace it for you at any time. I hope this chart has helped you in some way. Your donation to my channel definitely helps me. I'd like to thank you for your donation and especially for your patience with me in getting this chart to you.